In managing third-party risks, high-impact programs understand that robust third-party due diligence is an important function, but such programs often use automated platforms to mitigate these risks. And this is something that we have preached for a long time, which is you have to have an automated tool to address your due diligence, your third-party risks and management.
Global companies face unprecedented risks and challenges in today's economy. To mitigate these legal and economic risks, companies are rapidly embracing and elevating the importance of robust ethics and compliance programs to promote positive corporate citizenship. On Corruption, Crime, and Compliance, you'll hear from industry leaders and insiders about how to create effective ethics and compliance programs that will mitigate risks and maximize financial performance. Here's your host, Michael Volkov.
Welcome. This is Michael Volkov, and we're here for another episode of Corruption, Crime, and Compliance. Today, we're going to look at LRN's Program Effectiveness Report for 2025. It's an annual event, one that I look forward to, because LRN consistently provides important trend, benchmarking, and programming measurements. As an important leader in this area, LRN never pulls any punches, and this year's report is nothing different. In reporting, LRN took a survey of 1,500 global ethics and compliance professionals, and LRN reports on important trends and measurements. This year's key findings was about, and the focus of this year's report was on the difference or growing difference between what are called high-impact programs and medium-impact programs. And high-impact programs regularly use benchmarking data, reporting data, and leverage advanced tools, including data analytics and automation, to manage compliance. At high-impact programs, executives are perceived as more willing to make difficult decisions consistent with company values. High-impact programs regularly use misconduct trend analysis data to monitor their culture and sort of make sure that their culture is moving positively. Younger employees are more likely to view managers with skepticism, though, concerning their commitment to fairness. These are your Gen Z employees. High-impact programs are increasing focus on emerging risks, such as third-party due diligence and supply chain compliance. As well, the top challenges facing companies are the same as the year before, which was interesting. Outdated internal systems, 64%. Complex regulatory environments, 59%. Budget constraints, 55%. Mergers and acquisitions pressures, 52%. And staff shortages, 51%. Interesting because all of these issues are sort of top of mind. And it's not surprising to me to see outdated internal systems, as we regularly see companies improving, moving forward, trying to get automated solutions. High-impact programs are more adept at addressing emerging technologies, including AI risks, and incorporating AI issues into their code of conduct. And high-impact companies use AI in their training programs. Now, I mentioned before the fact that high-impact companies rely on misconduct trend analysis to compare their performance versus medium and low-impact programs. In doing so, high-impact companies use this analysis to make data-driven decisions, while medium-performing programs face persistent challenges. Further, high-impact programs actively use their speak-up data to identify areas for improvement and leverage these insights to improve culture and reinforce employee trust. A high-impact program is more likely to understand regulatory complexities and the impact on their business operations. In managing third-party risks, high-impact programs understand that robust third-party due diligence is an important function, but such programs often use automated platforms to mitigate these risks. And this is something that we have preached for a long time, which is you have to have an automated tool to address your due diligence, your third-party risks and management. Three key differences now exist between high and medium impact compliance programs. And to address these differences, medium impact programs have to focus on these three areas. One is enhanced training. 2 is implementation of an automated solution to support training and third-party risks. And 3, encouraging sharing and collaboration among high-impact program colleagues and medium-impact programs. So in other words, there's a greater level of collaboration. Now, LRN's report cites the growing disconnect between leaders and middle management, and this is an important trend, one that we have to be very, very mindful of. Even though there has been an increased focus on middle managers, companies have not devoted enough attention to this issue. Senior leaders are perceived to be more ethical and dedicated to their values. Middle managers have been lacking in their attention to values, communication, and reinforcing their overall commitment to ethical values. And I mentioned earlier that LRN reported on key trends with Generation Z employees. Most Generation Z employees, the younger ones, do not have a positive perception of their middle managers and report that these managers are less committed to ethical standards. Gen Z employees experience this trust gap and are more unwilling to report incidents to middle managers for fear of retaliation. This is something that should be addressed. It really is sort of a red flag warning sign for the future of corporate culture as it develops, in the importance of getting your Gen Z employees, integrated into the culture more. In contrast, other employees from millennials, Gen X's, and boomers have much higher reported commitments to ethical standards and are more willing to report misconduct when observed. So this is just a key point about Generation Z employees that has to be addressed. Now, we talked about third parties and third-party vigilance. Robust third-party due diligence is a hallmark, is a trait of a high-impact program. They are 2.3 times more likely to prioritize third-party evaluation and ongoing audits, minimizing risks, and ensuring alignment with ethical and compliance standards. Similarly, I mentioned AI preparedness. High-impact programs lead in addressing the challenges proposed by emerging technologies such as AI. They're 2.2 times more likely to focus on AI risks, more likely to integrate AI into training programs, and more likely to incorporate it into their code of conduct. This ensures that employees are well equipped to navigate ethical issues related to technology uses. Now, platform utilization, and we've talked about how platforms and technology platforms and how you leverage ethics and compliance provider platforms for deploying key components like training, like third-party due diligence, and much more so than medium impact programs, which may still be struggling with what platform do we bring, and how do we enable scalable, consistent, and efficient program implementation across the organization. So some traits that we see that are identified and interesting about medium impact programs. First off, medium impact programs have limited access to benchmarking tools, and they have sort of a lack of resources internally, which leads more to reactive compliance. Without getting access to benchmarking data, medium impact programs are more likely to respond to issues only after they arise, rather than preventing them proactively. Medium impact programs are also less likely to employ root cause analysis after misconduct to address future issues. In addition, this is an interesting observation, with medium impact programs, you have more likely an inefficient resource allocation. Limited data and limited ability to create a benchmark or rely on benchmark analysis leads to, I would say, misguided prioritization, inefficient, leading to suboptimal use of resources. And the absence of clear benchmarks results in uneven compliance across different business units or regions. Now, addressing the gap between high and medium impact programs requires a sort of multifaceted approach. And the key trends for how do you get to this, and we talked about them, listed them, but the disparities between high and medium impact programs highlight the critical role of resources, data literacy, and advanced measurement tools in driving program success. So how do we get at this? You need more benchmarking tools, more training programs, collaborative knowledge sharing to ensure compliance programs can evolve with confidence and agility throughout the organization. So investing in data literacy programs can empower medium impact teams to make better use of available tools. And there's data that's being generated by your compliance program. The question is, how do you get the analytics around it, and what's the quickest way to do that? There are cost-effective technology solutions that are out there that are tailored to medium-sized organizations and can make sure that there's greater access and availability to such resources. And we want to encourage that knowledge sharing among the program participants and bringing people together and bringing them to the same level and commitment to compliance. These are all very good general ideas, but I've tried to give you some of the bottom line factors to look at, like technology solutions, training, leveraging those solutions in the training and third-party risk. Obviously, these are issues that we've talked a lot about at Volkov Law, and this only LRN, once again, reiterates these key issues. Well, that's today's quick review. We'll be back next week for another episode, and we'll talk soon.
If you enjoyed this episode, the best way to support the show is by subscribing on your favorite listening platform. To learn more and connect with Michael Volkov, go to volkovlaw.com.